it's important to value people's time and understand how much they can soak in. So the last 16 years, I've always done the initial as just an initial investigation appointment, and then followed by a report of findings where I present them the treatment plan and what they need to action and implement.
Yep.
Just to break it apart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say the sicker the person is, the shorter the appointment has to be. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, coaches, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to the needs of you, the practicing natural therapist. We have interviews during the holiday season and business and mindset support each week, so you'll get the variety you need to enjoy and stay motivated in your practice. Don't forget to subscribe to receive the weekly episodes. And if you want to connect with me, always check the show notes, because that's where you'll find the links to book appointments and, of course, to join the Academy, the membership group, where there's constant connection and community with like-minded practitioners. Now, let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I am very excited to be seeing Marianne Fernance from Simple Clinic. Now, I have to have a disclaimer here in that I don't use Simple Clinic because it wasn't around when I started my practice, and that is the only reason. It wasn't there for me. But I really want to talk to Marianne about systems, because systems and having a flow from someone who uses multiple systems, because this one wasn't around when she started. I wanted to talk to Marianne about systems and how having everything in one place helps our flow and helps us work. And Marianne obviously has a different angle on this because it was developed for your business, wasn't it? So Marianne, tell us a bit about yourself and how this actually started, how Simple Clinic was created.
So back in 2009, when I started my clinic, I was basically using multiple systems and platforms for record note taking, something different for creating my prescription. I was using an online booking. I was using something for invoicing, and it was getting really chaotic and really hard to manage and hard to see, to get a patient profile view from the one login. I had to go here, there, and everywhere. And so it was just taking a lot of time, double handling, as well as just not really easy to manage my patient view. Yeah. And so then my husband, who's a programmer, I just said, basically, I need you to create me a platform where I can look after all my patient needs, from prescribing to invoicing to booking. And so obviously the platform has evolved since 2009 when he first created it for me.
Absolutely. I mean, because we need systems. And as you just said, back in the day, and it's the same, receipts. I had handwritten notes before I went online, and I used one of the first systems around for the online. So I would do some people online, the people I was seeing online, I would put their notes online. And the other people I was seeing, I would have them on paper. And then my booking system, there's all these different systems. And if we have flow, it saves time.
Absolutely.
It totally saves time. If someone is able to book in with you, and then they get an email saying, we're going to meet here at this place, or here is your Zoom link. Is it right? You've got Zoom in there as well. How can...
Yeah, so we have an integration with Zoom, and we also have our own inbuilt telehealth. So when a patient books online, if they're booking an online appointment with you, depending on what you've integrated with, they'll get an automated email with a link. And they'll also get a automated reminder email as well with the link again to remind them what to join and at what time.
Yeah, I mean, automation is huge. It's absolutely massive as part of our systems and organization. So, I mean, I encourage people to have packages and programs, and we can do that in Simple Clinic, can't we?
Absolutely. And one of our unique things about our online booking is that we also support bundles for prepaid entitlements. So if you've sold a bundle of 5 follow-up consults at a discounted rate, your patients can go back online and book that appointment, bypassing having to pay. And then Simple Clinic will basically automatically take that entitlement off for you. So you don't have to manage how many times they've seen you and when they've used up their package or bundle.
Which is absolutely great. And there's something else in there that you just said as well, is them paying before they see you, which I think is really, really important. I instigated that in my own practice pretty much as soon as I got Stripe, actually. As soon as I had an automation where I had a booking system and a payment system, I just changed it. And I was like, no, you're all paying before you see me.
What year did you implement prepayment?
I really can't remember. I reckon it was 2015 or 16.
Yeah, okay,
Maybe
well before me. Yeah,
it was just, it was one of those things that I think I went somewhere else and I had to pay in advance. It might have even been accommodation or something, or a dinner, something I paid for. And I made a comment about paying for an advance. And the person just looked at me and said, well, I have to go shopping or something like this. And I thought, good point. You go to the supermarket, you get everything. Yes, you pay at the end, but you haven't tried the food. You haven't tried the food. And literally in all of these years, I've had one person ring me and say, oh, I don't really want to pay you in advance. And I was like, well, you're not committed to doing what you want to do anyway. So let's not even bother. We're wasting each other's time here. If you were committed, then you would have paid me in advance, and it also spreads their cost because
that was a real game changer for me. I implemented 100% prepayment back in 2019. So it was actually just prior to COVID.
Right.
And massive game changer. No more ever cancellations, no more no shows, no more me having to chase people for cancellation fees. It was so stressful prior to that. You know, people could just easily, without, notice, just not show and think it was okay. But when we started to take prepayments, suddenly you just got committed patients, and it's been the best thing hands down I've ever done from an automation point of view, not having to chase up outstanding funds.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a system, or my psychological system is, you're allowed to mess up once and not come to your appointment. After that, you're paid. And so my clients know, oh, there's a 24-hour cancellation fee. It comes out in the reminders to them. And so when on the odd occasion where they have missed it and they've paid, and I ring them and go, oh, where are you? Sort of thing. And they're like, oh my God, I had to go and pick the kids up. I totally forgot. And they're like, I will pay you, because they know that's the deal. They're like, oh, don't worry, Geraldine, I'll pay for today. And I'm like, no, everyone's allowed one mess up. I'll just move your appointment today, because often I'm quite grateful they've cancelled because I've got so much to do anyway.
Yeah.
But I get an hour to do all the other things. But by making them pay in advance, or not making them, they choose to pay in advance. I'm not making them do anything. They choose it because they want that health. So by choosing to do that, they have already made that first step in their healthcare journey. I'm going to do this with you. And when we use something like Simple Clinic, or a system, obviously I like Simple Clinic and wish that I'd introduced it all those years ago as well. No point for me now. Everyone's going, why don't you do it now, Geraldine? Well, there's actually no point now. I'm due to retire soon. I have a system of automation. It's not as good as using it in one place, mind you. But when I see my clients, I have my automations going. And if you have one place for all your automation, and especially a place that's growing, Simple Clinic is always growing, isn't it? Eric is always thinking of something new, isn't he? And you, the two of you are always going, we could do that. I mean, the latest one was it's not a landing page as such, but is it a landing page where people can sign up for things?
Are you talking about the online programs or workshop?
Yes. Well, there you go. See, everyone, are we talking about the online programs or workshops? See, we've got all of this.
Or, your multitude of services on the online booking. Like, there's so many ways we've automated for patients to be able to, and prospective patients to be able to book with you. One of also what we love about our online booking is that we don't force the patient to create an account with Simple Clinic before they can proceed to book an appointment with you as the practitioner. And I think that's really great in this day and age where more and more customers are becoming mindful of their digital footprint as well. More and more people don't want to have to be signing up to a third-party platform before they can just book an appointment to see a healthcare practitioner. But so
I mean, that is really significant, because the practitioner is the one that owns their information, right?
100%, absolutely. We are very much dedicated to patient data being yours as the practitioners, being safe and secure. We don't share that data with anyone. And I think, again, that's something else that's really important to be mindful of when you're choosing a platform, is who owns that patient data and what are they doing with it in the background.
What have you actually signed up your patient for? over.
Absolutely. Most people don't read the defined terms and conditions, but it's probably something that, we should be mindful of.
Because, that's something I was just talking to Tia from Araya Health. And of course, that's an integration with Simple Clinic. And they have that same ethical standpoint of this is the practitioner's information. This is not our information. We're not going to email your practitioners, your clients. We're not going to do anything. That is your confidential information. That client has ordered whatever they've ordered. And they don't share that information with the companies either. So everything is totally maintained from an ethical standpoint. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Because we're always handing out our information to every Tom, Dick, and Harry without realizing it. You press cookies okay, and you've immediately handed out information. So if your client's not having to sign up, for them to be your client only, and even if they do sign up because they're going to add the stuff, it's still the practitioner's information about that client.
Absolutely.
And then we've got this system where there's one thing follows another. So if you have a program with them, it's very clear. And you can see if they don't do something, I assume, on the program, if they just dropped out or haven't done what they were meant to do.
Yeah.
You can see all of those things.
When you've got your systems set up properly, it really does just save so much time and really adds that automation and that streamlining process. So once you've connected your online payment gateway, you can have those automated payments, automated notifications, automated messages going out to your patients. You can have them access your programs or sign up for a webinar and have those automated confirmations once again, access their patient history, access their prescriptions, invoicing, appointment history. There's just so much they can do for themselves. Upload pathology. We can share their pathology results now with them through the patient portal. So having a system which is all connected and where you can log into that one place and have that full patient profile view, for me, that really came home when I was on a holiday sitting on an island and I had an email from one of my patients saying, I've just found out I'm pregnant and I'm on all these supplements. Marianne, what can I keep taking and what can I stop? Now, if I didn't have a platform, there's no way I would be carrying my filing cabinet with me overseas. So the fortunate thing is I was able to open my phone, log in and have a look at her current prescription and quickly just go, reply to her email saying just stop X, Y, Z. So there were 3 supplements, 3 herbs she was taking, which were contraindicated during pregnancy. And without having for me to stress or for her to stress while I was away for 2 weeks, I just replied to her immediately saying, congratulations, please cease X, Y, Z. And one happy patient and one happy practitioner.
Absolutely. I love a system that flows, I've got to say. And that is part of all of this knowing your numbers is when we have systems that flow, we can know our numbers, we know our systems, we know who our people are because it's a very clear step from this client has found me. Where did they find me? How did they get in? Well, you've got your booking link right there. They can book in, they can pay. You don't have to sign up to anything until they've met you. And then you're like, right, this is the email that needs to be sent. Here's your prescription through Araya. And you can do it while you're there through the portal. You know what you've prescribed, whereas currently I do my Araya prescription, then I download it, and then I have to upload it into into there where I store my notes. And that's a part, fine. It only takes a few minutes, but you add up all those few minutes of these things that you repeat. And that's your time gone. That is your time. Right?
Absolutely. And when you just mentioned knowing your numbers, we have some awesome reporting. And one of my favorite reports is called the consultation report. And it lets you run it weekly or monthly or whatever frequency you prefer. But I run mine monthly and it shows me, for instance, how many potential discovery calls you had, how many acute consults, how many initials you had that month, and how many report of findings and follow-up. And then if you look at it monthly, you can compare that. You might notice that last month you had 10 discovery calls, and then you'll notice that the next month you had 10 new initials. So you can see your conversion rate and you can see how many people are following through, to what follow-up. As an example, you might have had someone coming for initial, a report of findings, and they might have attended for 5 follow-ups and then dropped off. And when you have a look why, you'll notice that they got better and they don't need to come and see you as frequently anymore. So yes, we have some awesome reporting that helps you know your numbers really well, which I'm very passionate about knowing, because I think that helps you realize what you're doing, is it working, or is what you're doing not working? And you might need to reevaluate where the hole is and plug it so that you can continue to be successful.
Yeah, that is a huge part of all of this training, is knowing your numbers and finding them. And if you've got one platform where your numbers are held, it means because you can go and look, you see those clients. Are they coming back? Are they only ever come back for one? Why? I say to my mentees, if people aren't coming back, you need to record the consult. You need to tell the client, hey, I'm recording the consult. But you can just do it on your phone, on the memos or whatever. And you're actually recording you, right? You're recording you. You're not recording necessarily your client's ills, whatever, because you don't want to listen to another hour of them. You've just listened to an hour of them. What you want to listen to is how you're speaking to them. What is it? Are you overgiving? And so they're exhausted. Are you telling them to do things without asking them if it's possible for them to do those things? What is it that means they're not coming back, as well as asking them? You've got to ask them, why aren't you coming back? What's prevented you from coming back? And some people just go, I'm busy. But lots of people, because this is Australia, will be honest. And they'll go, well, you gave me everything in the first consult, so I don't need to come back. Or I was exhausted and I can't come back because I was just so tired. I've been flat on my bed because I was there for a day and a half.
It's important to value people's time and understand how much they can soak in. So the last 16 years, I've always done the initial as just an initial investigation appointment, and then followed by a report of findings where I present them the treatment plan and what they need to action and implement.
Yep.
So just to break it apart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say the sicker the person is, the shorter the appointment has to be. And no appointment should be an hour and a half. It's kind of like that training is college, it's an hour and a half, but it's not really, because in college, their appointment is actually under an hour. It just happens that you've got to find the lecturer, you've got other students in there with you. So it ends up ballooning to an hour and a half. You go out to the real world and you create an hour and a half appointment because you think that's what you've got. Whereas all appointments should be under an hour. And if you're using a system, so my system means that even though I will see people for half an hour for a follow-up, it actually takes me 45 minutes because got to do the Oriah order, then I've got to download it, I got to upload it, I've got to do all these things, which will end up taking me another 15 minutes.
Yeah. So if you've got a system, then you can basically automate all those processes. Even the creating the prescription process can be automated by adding in content blocks, whether you've created them yourself and are reusing them, or whether you want to take advantage of our own reference content blocks. We've got hundreds and hundreds of reference content blocks in our marketplace, which is complimentary as part of the subscription for practitioners to use. We also even have protocols that our naturopaths have written, which have been researched and referenced as well, to help speed up the time of researching and creating prescriptions, which if you do use Oriah for your third-party distributor, then you have the ability just to press one button. And when you're ordering, you can also see what's currently in stock. You can see dosages for those products will also appear. There's so much advantage of having a system which is integrated with all the platforms that you would like to use to help your clinic run smoothly, and so that you have actually time after a consult for that cup of tea. You have time to go and stretch and have a breath before your next patient. Yeah, I just love it. But I guess I am biased.
I mean, that's a really good point as well. And that if you have a system, you have got time to have that cup of tea. You have got time to walk around. Between my clients, when they came into my room, I would spray room clearing spray between each client. So the Australian Bushfire Instances has a pre-made one. I don't know if I meant to say that or not. Who knows? Who cares? Just happens to be a pre-made product. And I would spray that in the room. And now that I'm seeing people only online, my consults are faster. I don't actually feel I need to spray the room because the energy doesn't stay, because I'm able to get up and go for a walk and leave my office and then come back again, because we have a system. And when we start out, you actually have a start out price, which is fantastic. And because it means that when you're small, you are the little guy and you've only got a few people, you can get to know the system. You can practice in it. You can slowly build on it so that you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly how to do that. I know exactly how to get my Oriah stuff down. I know exactly how to use the Zoom. I can mess around with a program and create it. I can figure out what I'm going to write. So when they touch on to make their appointment, what's it going to say under it? I'm going to link it to this payment. Oh, that didn't work. Well, it's okay because I have 2 hours today to figure out why it didn't work because I'm new to this. Whereas now, after all these years, like, it doesn't work. Someone. But we've got Eric, good on him. And you've got loads and loads and loads of pre-recorded trainings. I'll just put that out there. So you,
Yeah.
so people don't have to rush in and go, Eric, doesn't work. Okay. So I think that we've probably covered just about everything we need to cover today. So our take homes from this one are using a system, deciding what we need in practice to use for our clients, and which is a system. So we need to be able to book them in. We need to be able to take their money. We need to be able to put their notes somewhere. We need to be able to send reminders, and we need to be able to connect with them, however that may be, in person or online. And then we need follow-ups, both appointments and emails. And I think that's the bare minimum of what we have to be able to have with a client. It's like bare minimum because we actually want to have resources for them. We want to be able to, in this instance with you guys, we can do our ordering with Araya. It doesn't help if you're in New Zealand, mind you, but you know.
Yeah, for New Zealand, we are in the process of creating an integration with Pacific Health. So for New Zealand, in the next coming months, we will have a direct integration, with Pacific Health. So that's good news for the New Zealanders.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like here we've got a system. So number one, figure out what you need, peeps. What is it that you need? And then what's the bare minimum? But what do you desire for the future? What is your future aim and desire? Because it probably is to have programs and packages and bundles and all of those things. And so then we have to make sure that we have the system that will accommodate that growth, because our businesses are all about growth, aren't they? Have you got anything else that we haven't touched on?
I think we've touched on most of it. I think you're mentioning numbers as well, and to be viable. And if you're starting out and you're a graduate, with Simple Clinic, you think of it as $1 a day is your investment to have a one platform where you can log in and run your appointments, record your treatment notes, send out your treatment plans, have your patients self-service, book with you, rebook, access everything, the one platform. So when I started out 16 years ago, I had to fork out $3,000 a month for my clinic and dispensary items which were sitting on my shelf. So I think in this day and age where we've all moved online, $1 a day is quite reasonable as an overhead to have a one platform where you can run your whole business from.
Absolutely, 100%. Because not needing to have all of those, I had a room, I had my dispensary here, I had all the things. I mean, I could have even avoided buying the filing cabinet, to be honest, because everything is online. I literally emptied my filing cabinet and sent everything to the shredder. And like they came, they collected it, they took it away, they shredded it. They've sent me a certificate of shredding. I have no paper client notes anymore. And it's a very pretty filing cabinet, but it's empty. I've got shelves empty where I've ditched all of this paper. And simple things like that, people don't have to buy because they can just use one platform, one simple platform. So thank you very much, Marianne from Simple Clinic.
Thank you.
And it's been great catching up with you. And guys, have a look, think about it, sit down. What do you need? And is this right? Probably is going to be right for you. Let's be honest. If you're starting out, it's perfect. So thank you very much, Marianne. It's been great having you.
Thanks, Geraldine.
Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.